What's up, Unspoken Nation, and thank you so much for tuning in into today's video. I know I've been gone for the last few months, but it was needed, okay? Let me get y'all up to date to what has been taking place. Let's think about it. Okay, boom. So I graduated first gen, period. I got engaged. He put a ring on it, period. And now I started taking therapy. It's a great thing, but it's also a hard thing. It's hard to talk about, but it's needed. Amen. I'm going to be this different person. And in order for me to become this different person that I envision to be, I have to heal. So this is why we're going to have this conversation today. So today we're going to talk about all the things I've gone through, and mostly really the bad stuff, because that's what really shaped me into the person that I was, not who I am anymore. Because baby, it's a new me. But we do have to address and talk about the person that I was, because I shouldn't have not been in some situations, and I stayed because I didn't know any better. But we're going to get into that. But I also have to state a disclaimer of sexual assault. You know, I don't think anyone would expect for me to say that, but it is a story. It is a story. It's a hard conversation, but it's something that has transpired and has did a number on me. But before we get into that, I have to tell you guys a little bit more about myself. So let's get into the video. So for the first part of the story, we're going to start talking about my childhood and how I was as a child, and basically build up from there. So as a child, I was really, really emotional. Okay. I felt misunderstood most of the time because everyone around me didn't talk about their emotions. They didn't regulate their emotions properly. No one talked about it. It felt like a foreign thing. So here I come into the world and I'm really emotional, and no one's helping me and guiding me in how to navigate this internal emotional warfare that I'm going through. Basically, that's how I'm looking at it. And so I would get into little arguments with my mom, for example. She'd be like, "Oh, why are you crying? And why you did it?" And it's just like, do you not hear your tone right now? What I'm paying attention to at first is your tone before your message. And they just didn't understand that. So I had to suppress a lot of my emotions because I was just misunderstood, and I just had to just be okay with whatever until it just passes over, because obviously nobody could understand me. As a child, I did experience my dad doing some things. You know, he was physically abusive. Now looking back, he was also emotionally abusive. I had never, he had never put his hands on me, but I have witnessed him, hitting my mom, doing certain things to my mom, and it stuck with me. And sometime afterwards, not too long, but he was incarcerated when I was 8. So with his presence not being there, it was really, really hard. So now what's it called? I think the cycle of abandonment has started, right? And from there, it was respectfully a shit show. Like, it was not great. It was not good at all. He just couldn't understand why I was feeling the things that I was feeling. And he was just always so angry and so frustrated. We just never seen eye to eye. It really got worse by the time I got into high school, but again, stepping stones, we're gonna get there. By me feeling indifferent, I had to suppress my emotions. I'm very emotional than my counterparts. So by me being emotionally lonely, I started to internalize. I started to become a perfectionist. I started to self-criticize. I started to people please and overthink. And I have this abandonment issue. I didn't have that assistance to help me figure out these emotions and to properly regulate them. Has set me up for failure. So I have a list of the things that I was as a child for you guys, just so we can get into it. I was hyper aware of people's feelings, a people pleaser, an overthinker, conflict avoidant, internalizer, perfectionist, self-critical, and emotionally lonely. Oh, baby, the list. That hurts. Now, when it comes to people pleaser, that also aligns with having to suppress your emotions, which basically that's what it is. Before I move forward, I also want to shout out this book. It's called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. It's a great book. I love it. If you're going through something similar, or have gone through something similar, or you know somebody who's going through it, tell them to read this book. Amen. Amen. My dad got locked up when I was 8. So if I'm doing the math right, I had to be 5th, 6th grade. No, I lied. I had to be third grade, fourth grade. I'm not gonna lie, y'all can do the math. I can't think right now. But anyway, I was 8 when he went to jail. My mom is outside living her best life as she should. And, she's dating other people, moving on with life. But I didn't meet those people up until I met this nice gentleman who eventually became my stepdad. And he was an angel. I love him to death. But he sadly did pass in 2014. So I was in 8th grade. It's literally like 6 months or something. It was like, no, yeah, it was about 7 to 8 months before I went to high school. And that transition was very, very difficult. I was dealing with abandonment all over again. On top of the abandonment that I was dealing with, I'm dealing with his loss. And now I'm starting to think, dang, I can't have, like, no one is permanent. Like, I don't think I'm gonna have anybody because my dad's gone, my stepdad's gone. It's like, this is really messing with my head. Now at this point, I feared abandonment. I feared of being alone, and also the fear of becoming too attached. And so all of this fear transferred into my relationships in high school. From pre-K all the way to 8th grade, my mom kept me in private school. All right. But when I was in 6th grade, we moved to a different county, but she still kept me in that private school. Bless her heart, because every single day driving like 35, 40 minutes to, Baltimore County is a drive. But she did it because I didn't want to just change schools in the midst of the school year. It was just weird. I was like, no, like I want to graduate with my class. But anyway, yeah, so she kept me there from 6th grade all the way to 8th grade. So I got to graduate with my class. And so I'm truly thankful for that. By the time that I got to 8th grade, it was time for me, obviously, for me to go to high school, which was a hard transition because now I'm still living in this different county. Everybody that I know is in Baltimore. So I'm like, this is gonna be very unique. And so now I graduated, I moved on. Now it's time for me to go to high school. I'm going to a whole public school. I'm just like, what in the world? So I have anxiety. Now, I didn't have the proper help to regulate this process because on top of that, we're grieving. It was very uncomfortable. The fact that, it was me and my mom for so long. Lord have mercy. But I can only imagine the weight that was on her. Like, you're grieving, you have a child, you're trying to build a business, you have to deal with stuff that comes with the loss of a partner. It was a lot. And I give her kudos for pushing through, being the best person that she can be for me as well, because it's a hard process. Now going into high school and having these issues that I have, and bringing these into my relationships, I'm filling in little voids and expecting them to be filled by other people when other people also have their own issues. So I have fear of abandonment. I'm scared to get too attached. I'm a people pleaser. I'm an overthinker. I'm self-critical. I'm emotionally lonely. All right. I'm an internalizer. I'm a perfectionist. Conflict avoidant. Oh, baby, the list is nasty. We still went through it, right? Can't do nothing about it. So now when I get into high school, oh, we love this. I've had some relationships, that I should have left. I shouldn't have messed with certain people. I should have just left when that one thing took place, but I didn't know any better. Y'all just heard the list. What you think I'm about to do? Let's give you this cycle, all right? So because I feared abandonment, I accepted less. I lacked boundaries. I overgave. I ignored the red flags. And then I confused empathy with self-sacrifice. Did you hear that? Let me say that again. I confused empathy with self-sacrifice. All right? It's not great. It was really, really hard. I felt like I just poured so much into other people and they just gave me like that's all I got. And I was like, what? It's a learning lesson, and a learning lesson that I can pass on to my kids so they don't have to go through what I went through. Because maybe we're not playing that no more. Within those relationships, I look back and I'm like, dang, like he needs some emotional help too. He needs help because they didn't have the best relationships with their parents. It's like coming from a one parent household, and that relationship with the father or the mother isn't the best. To focus on one of the relationships, it just wasn't the best. Well, the main relationship. It was pretty much one person that I dated in high school. That relationship I poured way too much love and just energy into that person just for that person to not believe me when something had taken place. So that person had a friend, and the friend, used to make certain comments to me, look at me a certain way. And when I told him about it, he didn't believe me. I was like, what? Like, so now we have another thing added on. Nobody believing me. So y'all heard the list. On top of not being understood, you're already not even trusting my word. Why would I lie? Like, it's like, why would I lie about that? He thought I was trying to break up their friendship and just be one of those when I wasn't trying to be one of those. I was actually trying to tell him the truth about getting his friend because his friend making googly eyes at me, and I don't like that. I actually thought that was actually very disrespectful. After that relationship, I just moved on with my life. I was just like, I just can't. Now we're gonna talk about the hard conversation, the sexual assault story, which involves the friend who I just talked about who was making googly eyes at me and making little comments to me. So it was Halloween night, it was my junior year, and it was this big house party somewhere. I can't remember, but it was this big house party. Underage drinking was taking place, and on top of that, I have secondhand smoke because everybody's smoking. I don't believe I was smoking. I don't remember smoking, at least. I was toe up. So after that party got shut down, there was an after party at this guy's house who used to go to my school. So when you walk into the house, there were stairs going straight down, there were stairs to go up. So we go downstairs, that's technically the basement. It was like two couches across from each other, and then there was a TV. So me and my friends went down there and sat in on this couch, and we're chilling. I'm still toe up. I'm coming down from it, but very slowly. All right. I'm literally like, from the people who was like down there, I'm like the drunkest in the room. It was sad. And when you go upstairs to the second level, there was the kitchen on the left hand side, dining room, dining set, table, and stuff like that on the right. And then there was a bathroom. And then when you go up the stairs, I'm trying to give y'all a picture real quick. When you go up the stairs, you're here. So there's a room, a closet door, a bathroom, room. Some other people from my school came in, they had liquor, whatever the case may be. Everybody's pretty much scattered doing their own thing, and I'm with my friends as well. And eventually my friends had gave me to this guy because I guess I was just too much for them. I was too drunk. And so he was bigger and taller than all of us. So they said, there you go with him. Remember, this is the friend. So this friend's fully aware of who I used to date, and they were best friends. So just so y'all have that picture. So I never made any advances towards this man way before this day. Like, it's never been that, because the guy had also messed with people that I was cool with. So that's a strong no. Like, I did not play about that. Let's go back to Halloween night. And so now I'm in his care. He's carrying me around, not like picking me up, but I'm walking, but like he's holding on to me. I'm holding on to him because I'm drunk. I remember we went outside, they were smoking, went back inside. I remember sitting back on the couch with my friends for a little bit, and then I remember I had to use the bathroom because when you're drunk, you gotta go. So he helped me upstairs to go to the bathroom, which he was trying to help me to go to the second floor. But then I remember there was some guy who was like on a looking like this on the toilet. He toe up, so had to take me to the third floor. So we go upstairs. He helped me get into the bathroom. Then he left so I can handle my business. Did what I did. Got out. We went back downstairs. Again, I'm still holding on to him. He holding on to me. Before we could go back down the stairs, because again, if we're like turned around, we gotta go down the stairs as if we going out the front door and then turn to go in the basement. But before we could get to the steps, he turned me around. And then we went right back upstairs. I was like, what? What we doing? So by this point, I'm not as drunk, but I'm still drunk, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like, physically, I need assistance, but like mentally, I'm here. Like, I can still clock, but I'm still like a little wonky. He turned us around. So we go back up the stairs and we go into the room farthest on the right hand side that's next to the bathroom. Once we walk past the bathroom, I'm just like, what are we doing? And I was like, hold up. Okay. Realize he hasn't said anything to me. He's not saying what he's doing. He's just silent. And I'm like, this is weird, but okay. All right. So I remember once we got into the room, like, I just sat on a bed. I'm just like, dang, like, I'm toe up. Just to set the scene, it's really dark in the room. Like, I remember there was like some light like coming in a little bit, but it was like a streak of it. It wasn't like the whole room was lit, the lights wasn't on or anything. This man was in the darkest part of the room. So I'm just sitting there on the bed, and like, once you drunk, like, everything is intensified. I remember hearing the door close and then his footsteps coming towards me, and then me feeling his hand behind my head and hearing his zipper, and then him proceeding to put his area in up here. It like something just like woke me up, bro. I don't know. Like, I can't explain it to this day, but It's just like, what? And then it didn't last long. It lasted about like 5 seconds, and then I pushed him off, and I started crying and just acting just so crazy. I don't know, like just for him to stop it. And I remember him like kind of shaking, like trying to, get himself together, because I don't know if he didn't expect me to react like that, because maybe he thought I wasn't fully there. I don't know, but he reacted like that. It didn't last long. I pushed him off. I started crying, and I'm just like, you know who I used to date and talk to? Like, why would you do that to me? Why would you do that to him? Like, that's your man's, like, all this stuff. And he's not saying anything to me, but it was just pure, like, we left, went downstairs back into the basement, and I remember getting to my friends, and I'm just like, we gotta go. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't talk about it. I didn't say anything in that moment. Why? It's because I didn't think anyone would believe me. That's what I believed, because I had already gone through a cycle of people not believing me, trusting my word and understanding me, my emotions. Like, I just didn't feel heard for a very, very long time. And knowing who this person was, instantly I knew there was going to be so much backfire from it. Like, it was going to be so, so, so bad. And knowing that, people, really like him, and that, who I used to mess with, and knowing that they friends is gonna look like I push myself against him, and like, oh, but they friends, why would you da 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 da? When the whole time this man been on me, he's been eyeing me. And on top of that, I was underage drinking. So now we got the police involved, they try to use logic, and be like, well, you were underage drinking and you don't know what you were doing, and that you probably in and out and probably just thought this was happening, whatever the case may be. I did not have time for that. I mean, I thought of the worst, and I was like, you know what? It is best for me to just shut up. I'm not going to speak about it. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to. No, we're not going to talk about it. I'm just going to act like it never happened. But it backfired later on in life. But that's what happened. It's something that I can somewhat easily talk about now, because I started working through it and healing through it. But it's something that should have ruined me bad. Like, you should have ruined me like to the ground, but I'm glad that I got myself out of it, and that I became the person that I am today. So before I move on, I did tell the girls about what happened that night, but I don't remember if I gave them the watered down version or if I told them what exactly happened, like word for word, bar for bar. I don't remember that. But yeah, we move. We gotta keep moving, baby. So after that situation, I moved on with life, acted as if it never happened. I just pushed it down into my subconscious. But in certain little ways, it has affected me in relationships. So now at this point, life moved on. I'm in a new relationship. I'm dealing with my friends. Life is good until it wasn't no more. So I was a sophomore in college, and I left that relationship because it was toxic. It was toxic. It just needed to go. And not too long after, I lost my friends. It was hard. It was hard. And before my friendships, I lost the relationship of a close family member that I was really close to, just because that person had animosity towards me, jealousy. It was just a lot of things that I was unaware of that came to light, and it only came to light because of a man. Yeah, because of a man. The man done told me about what took place, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Just basically at the root of it, it's all because of animosity. It's all because of jealousy and whatever else that person has towards me. It's one-sided. Once that one situation took place, I was like, dang, there's no way. And I'm like, you felt this way about me? After that first situation, my trust was broken bad. I mean, I built this brick wall, nobody could break it down. Until the second situation happened, where it was like the similar situation but different in its own way. Bro, y'all can't tell me nothing. My way of friendships is terrible. Like, I just don't get it. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And they are their own person. They make their own decisions. They chose to do what they did. You can't control nobody. And that's just the way of life. I can't do anything about what that person did. I put loyalty on such a high pedestal that I forgot all about respect. Boom, that's the word of the day. From what I have talked about to this point, I value relationships. I'm already hurting in other areas of my life. the one thing that's stable to me is friendships. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm holding on to it for dear life because, baby, back there, I don't got no, I can't hold on to that. So now I'm holding on to my friendships, and it's just like, dang, you did this to me, and then dang, y'all did that to me. It's like, dang, like, what are we doing? And in the last relationship I was in, my boundaries was just crossed. I was just really fed up. I was really over it. That was actually the first time I stood up for myself, to where I didn't bend and like twisted myself up for somebody else's comfort. I really stood 10 toes and I give myself a pat on the back. That's what I'm talking about. But looking back into the things I've gone through in my life, my boundaries was not strong at all, which made people play with me. But baby, I am not that person no more. No, 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 no. So boom, we're into the next section of this story, and now my biggest fear has came to life. And what is that, ladies and gentlemen? The fear of being alone. Oh, I already had abandonment issues, and now everything was taken away from me, but more in the light where I can see it now. You know, like with my dad being gone, that's one thing. My stepdad passing, that's one thing. My relationships piss poor, that's one thing. But now with my friendships, again, I'm holding dearly onto it. It's like, oh my gosh, I sit back and I'm just like, damn, I'm really alone, y'all. I'm looking around, nobody in the room with me no more. I'm just like, dang, like I had to walk away. I had to let them go, and they're gone. Nobody's here. And then I remember crying for like a week straight. Like I was so depressed. I felt so embarrassed. I was like, I just can't believe that this is happening to me. Like I'm such a good person. I'm such a nice person. I don't do anything to nobody. And yet here I am. I don't really have anyone around me. And this doesn't mean like my cousins, my love, I love y'all dearly, but I feel like the relationships that you have with your family is just different from the relationships that you have with your friends. And on top of that, no one lives near me, y'all. I'm still out here alone. So I learned to be okay with being alone. Taking myself out on a date was something that was a big accomplishment for myself. I was really proud of myself that one day, as I've grown the confidence to do things like that, because it took me like several months to just want to go outside and do something fun. Like I can go to the store and get something to eat or whatever the case may be, but to fully go out and do something fun, like, you feel me? That was hard. But I realized, while me being alone, this was transformation. It was needed. That's something that a lot of people need, because sometimes in life you may be alone, and not saying like it will happen such as like how it happened to me, but there will be seasons where people won't be able to help you. And I felt like I experienced it in a very bad way. Now, it could have been worse, but in that way, it was still us, y'all. Jesus. But this transformation was most definitely needed for my self-healing, for me to grow, to become a better person, to be the person that I am today. So, I am most definitely happy that I've gone through it, but y'all, it took 4 years. 4. What else we finna do? I don't want to stay as this sad, depressed person. I'm trying to be up there. I'm trying to get some money. I'm trying to be that girl. And I can't be that girl if I'm depressed, lonely, and sad. Like, what we doing? So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in my rediscovery era. From now to then, completely different. I love this version. I love this version of rediscovery. But that past rediscovery, I don't recommend it. I don't know when it kind of just like smacked me across my face to like lock in and to focus on yourself. But by the time I started working at this leasing company, oh baby, I was so locked in. I started going back to school because COVID happened in 2020. I was a sophomore in college. Boom, it happened. Everybody went in the house. I didn't go back physically to school, and I didn't go online. I couldn't do it. I mentally was not there. My mom had encouraged me to go back to my 2 year and finish getting my degree, because once you start something, you better finish it. Period. I did that. I accomplished getting my degree. Period. But in the midst of that, there was a gentleman who used to come in, and he used to come in and get his mail for his business. And sometimes he would see on the desk my pens, my notebooks and stuff, and sometimes me at the desk like and one day he asked me, what are you studying for? Are you in school? Just curious, because it's like, what are you doing, girl? I explained how I'm getting my associates, how I was almost done, and he proceeded to ask what I wanted to do with my life. basically where I'm going. What am I doing, girl? And I literally was like, well, I'm gonna just get my associates, get a certificate, and get a job. American dream. And he was like, oh, okay, like, that's good. And then so he was the type of person to just like pick my mind. He was also someone I believe that God most definitely sent into my life, because now today he is my mentor. Just from our conversations, he would just always make me think, like always ask myself why, and think about this and think about that. Like, why don't you want to go to school, like further your education and do all this, do all that? I'm just like, oh wow, like, but this is good stuff that he's saying. And I'm just like, okay. So eventually, one of our conversations had led to furthering my education. So I decided to further my education and go to Bowie State, which was the best decision I've made for myself. And he was like, okay, boom, you got in. So what's next? Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, I love to dance. So I looked up, the dance teams at Bowie and came across the Dancing Divas. But I was a little nervous because I'm like, I never done majorette. I haven't danced since 2019. At this point, it's what? In the end of 2023, early 2024. No, I say mid to end. Yeah, mid to end of 2023, early 2024. And I'm like, dang, but I haven't danced since 2019. Like, I don't know. He was like, if you really want it, you better go get it. And it just, I pushed myself to get on that team. So I hit up my cousin. I was like, hey, like, I really need your help. Like, I really want to make this team, but I never done major rap before. And I haven't been stretching, I haven't been dancing since 2019. Like, I don't know what to do, but we got in the field, y'all. We got in the field. And I'm so happy. It taught me a lot within that process of trying to get myself back into my little dancing ways, you feel me? And it was very challenging. It was really, really, really challenging because it messed with me mentally. And I literally remember this one moment of one of the practices with my cousin. So it was literally the day before the audition week. It was like a Sunday. And I was having the worst practice. I was having the worst practice. She decided to sit me down, just talk to me, because I mean, she'll give me a critique. The critique isn't critiquing, okay? It's just like, what's going on, girl? You good? And so she decided to sit me down and talk to me, and she could see that I'm literally in a mental battle right now. And so she decided to send me two videos from YouTube about the mind and, control the controllables, etc. But our talk was literally amazing, and I mean, I hold it dearly to my heart because it literally changed my life. And so we decided to finish out practice, run the dance one or two times, and then we went about our ways. And so I listened to one of the videos on the way home because I had like a 35-40 minute drive. And it was talking about, you can only control the controllables. And, not allowing other people's comments and etc. Basically the outside world to impact what's going on with you internally. Like, if somebody says something rude, are you going to allow that to dictate your whole entire day? Because the old me, low key, well, I would be pissed, but now it can't no more. But then, yes. And so it was talking about stuff like that. So literally, I passed the test. So by the time I got home, I was like, okay, I'm in a better headspace. I appreciated the video. I appreciated my cousin talking to me. And so, I'm going in the house. If you don't know, I have a dog. So I go in the house, open the door. I literally look straight and I see poop on the ground. I was like, oh my gosh. I realized he hasn't done it in months. This boy he's trained. He's trained. I'm about to say potty trained as if he's a baby. Anyway, he's trained. And the old me would react, be like, why you did it? Right? But the new me said, no, it has already happened. I can't do anything. The only thing I can do that's to what I can control is discipline him, put him away, clean it up. Okay, that's all I can do. And so I took that route and I passed the test. I was like, dang, that kind of came fast. Like, I'm like, dang, like, okay. But I listened though. And from there, everything went great. But at the end of the week, because audition week, literally for the first few days, we learn the dance and everything that comes about the whole audition process and what we have to do for that final day. And so when the final day came to, let us know if we made it or not, I did not make it, which I wasn't even upset about. Now, of course, there's a little part of you that's just like, oh, dang, like, dang, I really wanted it. But it's like, I was also real with myself in knowing that I wasn't ready. So I didn't get in, and I was like, "Oh, baby, that fueled me." So I hit my cousin up like, "Oh, baby, I didn't get it. We got to lock back in. We got to get these practices going." So kept the practices going, and then 2 months later, I made the team. And literally from there, my whole entire life changed. And just going to Bowie State simply was just such an amazing decision that I made for myself. And also um dealing with the challenges already before I even got to the school, such as making the team. That was like the first big hurdle for myself because, I was the oldest on the team. Um, that was pretty much like the biggest. Like on top of that, I'm not as flexible. Um, I'm not used to the style of dance. It was a lot going on, but I persevered. I wasn't gonna let nothing hold me back. And everything that I've literally accomplished at Bowie State has been a dream because now I am a diva. I am a Delta, part of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, incorporated. I am a first generation college student. I finally figured out my purpose in life. I met my amazing, amazing fiance. Not now, but I met him in. We have a story. I mean, if you want to know, the video before this video talks about how we met and stuff like that. But we've been together now 3 years. It's about to be 4. Oh my gosh, my stinker butt. And now I'm not chasing anyone else at this point. I'm chasing myself. I'm chasing the things that I want in life, and those are the goals that I want to achieve, such as being a dancer, being a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, um, and just wanting to tap back into that inner child. Like I'm just doing things that I set my mind to, and they're coming into fruition, and it's just something I'm really proud of. I'm really proud of myself. And now that I'm in therapy, I'm literally just sitting back and just picturing myself from a child all the way up to present day. The old me, like I said, I was shy, a people pleaser, overthinker, internalizer, all the ers, all the everything I listed before on that list, right? And now that I'm someone who's just much more confident, I can speak up for myself. I'm chasing things that are attainable, and I know they're attainable because it came to fruition. It's not anything that seems too far away from me. We can create our reality. And I didn't believe in that in the past. I thought everything, it just felt superficial. Like it had to be something that was reasonable to be true. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, how can this situation work out if I don't have this? I don't know this person, so that doesn't mean I'm gonna have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to speak up for yourself. You have to create your opportunities for yourself, especially if you can see that you don't have anything in your hand. It's just like this, like you don't have anything in your hand to create something, so go make it. I want something, but I realize that I don't know anyone. I don't have anything for it to come to fruition. Create it. And it's like once I understood that, I'm like, bro, like, but it's that simple. Like, there there are endless possibilities in this world. Anything that you want, you can have it. You just have to believe it. Once you believe it and know that you can attain it, you're unstoppable. It has changed me. I am someone now who has goals for herself like 10, 15 years down the line, and I know I can do it because I know I can make something shake. I know I can figure it out. It may take some time, and it may take until, I had to talk to the right person, or I have to be in the right environment, whatever. But once I realize that I have an opportunity, I'm going to take it. And that's something the old me would never do, because the old me was scared, and I'm not her no more. And so I want you to learn what I have gone through from me telling my story. I want you to just picture everything that I've said, all the stories that I've talked about, and how I just look at how I should have been, how I could have been, you know, into the person that I am today. I was shy. I was scared. I was broken. I wasn't heard. I wasn't loved properly. I gave all my energy to people. They made me, but they belittled me. I have, it's just situational situations that broke me down so bad that I'm surprised that at times that I'm able to give the love that I give people and be who I am truly at heart, and it's that loving, caring person. And the fact that I didn't allow those situations to place any envy, any hurt, any negativity onto other people, I'm proud of myself. And again, I am not perfect. I have made mistakes. There are things that I've ran away from because of fear and the things that I have gone through. But I'm glad that I know that I had to go through it to understand it later, such as in this moment. I had to. That situation didn't work out, and that's for the best, because I wasn't ready to have it. I was not. And that's just how life is. Sometimes, you look back, it's like, dang, like that could have been good, but it would have been terrible or horrible because you did not know how to deal with it. And it's just really important to understand that life is still gonna life. It's all about how your mental is, it's all about how you deal with the situation and how you can pull yourself out of it. Because at the end of the day, like I said, life is going to life and you can't do anything about it. All you can control is you. So that's all I got. I'm glad that I was capable of dealing with the truth and not being delusional, because I wouldn't have the things that I have right now. And the things I have right now, it would be so hard to lose. And I'm not risking that for anything. I'd rather sit through this uncomfortable phase and have the things that I love right now rather than lose all of that just because I don't want to talk about it and deal with that uncomfortable stuff. It's not fair. And it's not fair to you, because you deserve so much more. You don't deserve that hurt. I don't know what has taken place in your life, why it has taken place in your life, but life happens. And it's not to say that, it was meant to happen, but to say that life is still going to life. And we have to navigate it in a way where, you know, we can't allow it to consume us, because, oh, the devil loves misery. The darkness loves no light. Life is supposed to hurt us. Everything can't be good. And once people understand that, a lot of things will become easier to understand. Of course, I wish I never got sexually assaulted. I wish my dad was never in prison. I wish my stepdad never died. I wish that I never gave so much empathy to people who manipulated me and took advantage of me. But I did. There's always a lesson in everything. But it's our duty to understand those lessons and to learn from those lessons and to grow from those lessons. But today, as I realize, there's this cycle of hurts that keeps going on, especially in the Black community, because no one's talking about it. Nobody is having those difficult conversations. And we need those difficult conversations to be able to heal one another and to heal ourselves. It's most definitely needed. And one person at a time. That is why I am here doing what I am doing. So Unspoken Nation, thank you so much for tuning in into today's video. It was a very difficult conversation to have, but it was a conversation that was needed. I hope this really, touched somebody's heart and knowing that everything will be okay and that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to go through the darkness first and to unlearn and learn the things that we have gone through. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.